press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Good morning, students. In the previous class, we have discussed about equation of a progressive wave or wave equation, as well as phase difference, path difference, and relation between phase difference and path difference. Now we shall see how we can apply this relation between phase difference and path difference to find the phase difference, right, in terms of path difference, or path difference in terms of phase difference, even a progressive wave propagating through a medium. And once again I will tell you this concept of relation between phase difference and path difference is very important in understanding the two important properties of a wave, which are exhibited by all kinds of waves like electromagnetic waves, mechanical waves, transverse waves, longitudinal waves, etc. They are interference and diffraction, right? So, to understand the phenomenon of interference and diffraction exhibited by, most importantly, sound waves and light waves, we need to understand the relation between phase difference and path difference. And the most important point in the study of a wave is phase and phase difference. Why I am telling these things is, right, now without understanding phase and phase difference properly, we cannot understand the phenomenon such as interference, right, that is the formation of beats in sound, formation of stationary waves, diffraction, etc. Right? Now we have the term, the state of motion. The study of state of motion of a body involves finding position of the body, its velocity and direction of motion. Generally, it applies to a body in translational motion. We call state of motion on contrary state of rest. But phase or state of vibration is applicable to a particle or a body executing simple harmonic motion, that is oscillating or vibrating about its equilibrium or mean position, right? So now let us take that equation. Let us discuss these things under note points. We have that relation between phase difference and path difference. So, phase difference is equal to 2 pi by lambda into path difference. Right. See here, whenever if you get confused whether the equation is written is a correct equation or not, sometimes we may write it delta phi is equal to lambda by 2 pi into delta x, and it is a wrong equation, right? So here to check this one, left hand side is a phase difference, it is an angle, and right hand side we have three terms, 2 pi which is an angle, lambda which is a distance, and delta x which is a distance. If you write the dimensions or units on right hand side, it is radian divided by meter into meter. Meter get cancels, we have radian. Therefore, the equation is correct. So, whenever we have some doubt regarding the equation what we have written, to check whether it is a correct equation or not, we can use dimensions by writing dimensions on the both equations, and we can use the units, right, to check whether it is a correct equation or not. But there is a limitation, we cannot use both dimensional methods and unit methods if the equation involves some numericals or some dimensionless constant. Anyway, we will come back to this equation. Delta phi is equal to 2 pi by lambda into delta x. Right. Now, let us consider a wave, a progressive wave. A progressive wave can be represented by plotting a graph of, right, displacement of the particles of the medium, right, with respect to time. In case of simple harmonic motion of a single particle, we have a displacement or displacement of a single particle. But when we consider a progressive wave propagating through a material medium, a large number of particles, that is atoms or molecules of the medium, vibrate about their mean position, right. So, this graph shows, right, all particles of the medium vibrating about their mean position. Now, I will take this one. Right. Now, of course, this is plus CA, this is minus CA. There is a maximum displacement on either side of the mean position, and of course, it is origin O, right. The horizontal line represents the mean position and vertical line represents the displacement, right. Now, let us consider a particle at a particle at B, a particle at C, a particle at D, and a particle at E. Now, we know that at any given instant of time, this graph is representing the displacement of various particles about their mean position. This has the phase phi is equal to 0. It has the phase of pi by 2. It has B has the phase of phi. This has 3 pi by 2. This has 2 pi, and of course this has 3 pi, right. Now, number one A, right, we will take phase difference between the particles O and A, right. So, that is delta phi is equal to the phase of particle at A minus phase of particle at B, that is pi by 2 minus 0, that is equal to pi by 2. The phase difference between the particles O and A is pi by 2. When the phase difference between the particle is pi by 2, it generally means that one particle is at mean position and the other particle is at the maximum displacement position in positive direction. Now, example we can take. From this equation, delta phi is equal to 2 pi by lambda into. Now, in this case, this path difference between O and A is lambda by 4. A and B is again lambda by 4, so that the distance OB is equal to lambda by 2. And the path difference between the two particles O and D is lambda, because we know that O and D are right in same state of vibration, right, or same phase. That means 0, 2 pi, 4 pi, 6 pi, etc. are in same state of vibration, because the particle will be in mean position and the next moment they starts moving in a positive direction, right. Now, that into, right, lambda by 4, and that is equal to lambda get cancels, 2 pi by 4, this is equal to pi by 2. On the other hand, right, we have right, a path difference of lambda by 4 causes a phase difference of pi by 2. Now, B. Now, let us find phase difference between O and B, right. Now, this phase difference delta phi is equal to phase of B, this is phase of O, the phase of B minus phase of O, that is equal to pi minus 0, that is equal to pi, right. Now, phase difference between O and B is equal to pi, right. Now, again we have delta phi is equal to, right, 2 pi by lambda into the distance between O and B is, this distance is lambda by 2, that into lambda by 2, so 2 get cancels, that is equal to pi, right. Now, I say that particles O and B are out of phase. Remember this word, out of phase, and further I will explain in phase. These two words are very important in understanding the superposition of waves, that is in case of interference and diffraction. When two particles in a medium are said to be out of phase, right, when they have a phase difference of pi. Now, what is the meaning of phase, out of phase, right? That means they have
same position,
See, O is in mean position, V is in mean position, and tend to move in opposite directions, right? The next moment, the particle tends to move in positive direction. But what about the particle B? It tends to move in the negative direction. When two vibrating particles have same position, maybe in mean position or be maximum displacement in positive direction or maximum displacement in negative direction. So, when the two vibrating particles of a medium are in same phase and the next moment they tend to move in opposite direction, then the two particles are said to have out of phase, right? This happens when phase difference between two particles is pi, 3 pi, 5 pi, 7 pi, etc. are odd multiples of pi, right? Now, we'll take phase difference between O and D, that delta phi is equal to phase of particle, I will take C, phase of particle at C minus phase of particle at O, and that is equal to 3 pi by 2 minus 0, that is equal to 3 pi by 2, right? And D, now phase difference between O and D, right? Now this is delta phi is equal to phase of particle at D minus phase of particle at O, that is phase of particle at D is 2 pi minus 0, that is equal to 2 pi. Again, this is exactly an important concept here. Now here, particles O and D are said to be in phase. Said to be in phase, right? Now see it here, right? In the case B, the two particles O and B are said to be out of phase. Now in the case D, the particle O and D are in phase, right? So what is the meaning of that word O and D are in phase, right? Now see this here. What are the positions of the particle O and D? They are in mean position, of course, right? The particle D has completed one vibration and come to the mean position, and the next moment Immediately after that moment, O starts moving in positive direction and D also starts moving in positive direction, right? So, what is the thing between the O and D? They have same position and tends to move in same direction, right? Now that means O and D have same position and tend to move in same direction. So, if two vibrating particles have same position and have tendency to move in the same direction, they are said to be in phase, right? What about out of phase? When two particles in a medium having same position and they have tendency to move exactly in opposite direction, right? They are said to be in out of phase, right? So O and B are the particles which are said to be out of phase, and O and D are the particles which are said to be in right same state. Now see it here. There is a particle X. The particle A and the particle X have same position. That is maximum displacement in positive direction. And they have the tendency to move in the same direction. The next moment particle A starts moving towards the mean position in positive direction. The particle X also tends to move towards the mean position in X direction. So, A and X are in right same phase, right? They are said to be in phase. But generally, when we are talking about or discussing about the principle of superposition of waves, generally we consider the particles OB or the particles OD, right? Now, how to find now E, we have phase difference between say A and B, these two particles, that is delta phi is equal to phase of B minus phase of A. Phase of B is pi minus phase of A is pi by 2, and that is equal to pi by 2. So, the phase difference between A and B is pi by 2. Now, phase difference between B and D. Now, the phase difference between B and D, that is delta phi is equal to, now this is phase of D minus phase of B, that is 2 pi minus pi is equal to pi. That means the two particles B and D are out of phase. they have the same position, the next moment the particle B tend to move in negative direction away from the mean position, and the particle D tends to move right away from the mean position but in positive direction. So again the particles B and D are out of phase. What about the particles B and E? They are in phase. The next moment the particle B tends to move in negative direction, E also tends to move in right negative direction. So is that clear? So this is the concept regarding the relation between phase difference and path difference. And once again remember, phase difference is expressed in terms of fraction of 2 pi, and path difference is always expressed in terms of fraction of wavelength of the wave. Right? Now so far here I would like to tell you what the discussions we have done so far is phase difference between any two particles of a progressive wave propagating through a medium. Is that clear? This is a single wave propagating through a medium, and the particles O, A, B, C, D, E, etc. are the particles of the propagating medium in which a progressive wave is propagating through it. So that we have discussed so far is the phase difference between any two particles due to a single wave propagating through a medium. Why I am giving a stress to this point is, whenever we are going to discuss interference, diffraction, right, then there is a superposition of two or more waves. In that case, I need to consider, right, phase difference between two waves. Right? Now, you see the difference. So far we have discussed phase difference between two particles of vibrating medium due to a single wave. When we are discussing interference and diffraction, where we consider phase difference between two or more number of waves which overlap on one another, we say that superposition of waves. Is that clear? And that's all about the relation between phase difference and path difference. Dear students, once again I repeat, the term phase difference is very important whenever a quantity is a harmonic quantity which varies with time according to the harmonic equation, that is the sin theta or cos theta. And one more important thing is, we have alternating current, right? A current whose magnitude changes with respect to time and direction reverses periodically is called as an alternating current. You might have seen, whenever you are using a cell and you are utilizing a direct current, for example in a torch or in a remote controller or in any toys, right, which works on electric or electronic circuit, where you will see that sign, positive sign and negative sign. But whenever you are Charging your mobile phones, you insert the plug to an AC socket where you don't write find positive or negative, you just insert the plug. Why? Because in AC the polarity changes alternately with respect to time, but in DC there is no change in polarity. It is always a unidirectional current, that is DC, but in AC it changes with respect to time. Now the alternating current is given by the equation I is equal to I naught sine omega t, and alternating voltage is given by V is equal to V naught sine omega t. These equations are very much similar to Y is equal to A sine omega t. A sine Y is equal to A sine omega t is a simple harmonic equation. So here also, that means to say, why I am telling this, again in this case we use the word that is phase, right? Even in alternating current circuits we use the word phase and phase difference, right? Now the students from the rural side, you might have seen, you might have heard this word, right? Out of 24, right, about 8 hours you are getting 3 phase voltage or current. When you are getting 3 phase voltage or current, you can use your right water pumps, right, your mixer grinders and every electrical appliance in your home or in your farm. But most of the time you are getting a single phase current. When you are getting single phase current, you can use only that electric lamps, right, or TV or fans, etc. You cannot run a water pump or water motor, right? So remember that word, single phase current, 3 phase current, right? So again the same term but not the path difference there, right? The phase difference we are going to use even in alternating current circuits. In that way the phase and phase difference are very important, and of course in the next chapters we are going to use the same terms, phase difference and path difference, to understand interference of wave and diffraction of wave, right? So after that relation between phase difference and path difference, now we will take another important concept, right, that is intensity of a wave. right? Intensity of a wave. And here onwards, whenever I say a wave, it means a progressive wave, right? Now, intensity of a progressive wave, we heard these words in our day-to-day life, intensity, right? Now, what is meant by intensity of a wave, right? Now, what is the function of a wave? Why a wave is important to us? Because it transports energy without transferring matter. The most important thing is a wave transports energy. Whenever I am speaking, right, now I am transferring energy to you people in the form of sound waves. Sound carries energy or message or information from a speaker to a listener, of course, without transferring matter. Now, whenever a wave is transporting energy from one place to another place, now the question arises, how much energy is transported? In how much time? In how much area it covers, right? Why I am speaking? When I am speaking normally, without using any microphone or any other thing, I can reach a classroom, right? My voice can reach a person who is about 100 feet, right, radius around me. When I am speaking in a classroom, and there is a road about 100 meter or so, a person at a distance of 100 meter away from me, can he hear the sound? No. That means I can able to transfer energy through sound to students inside the classroom or some persons right outside the classroom, but not a person far away. But whenever a speaker is speaking to a large number of crowds, 1,000 people, 2,000 people, 10,000 people or so, what they use? They use mic. Why? Because using the mic, the energy increases so that it can reach a large area and a large number of persons, right? So now, what we are using, right? Intensity, right? Intensity of a wave is a measure of average energy transported by the wave. So, intensity of a wave is the average energy, right, is a measure of average energy transported by a wave. Why we are using average energy? Because when a wave is propagating through a medium, transferring energy, right, now the medium also absorbs some energy, right, so that the entire energy transported may not reach from one point to the other point. Therefore, we consider the average energy transported. right? So intensity of a wave is the average energy transported by a wave, right? That is a measure of average energy, right? Then how do we define intensity of a wave? Intensity of a wave is defined as the average energy transported by the wave per second per unit area, right, when a surface is held perpendicular to the direction of propagation of waves, right. Now we have definition, right. Now intensity of a wave is defined as the average energy transported by the wave per second per unit area through a surface held perpendicular to the direction of propagation of wave, right. So it is the measure of average energy transported per second per unit area and over the surface which is held perpendicular to the direction of propagation of wave, right. Now intensity is a physical quantity. It is objective in nature which can be measured, right, accurately. Now we have the word which we use in our day-to-day life. Here we use the word for light wave, we use the word brightness. For sound wave, we use the word loudness, right? Brightness and loudness, right? They are one of the forms of expressing intensity of a wave, right? So here when we take 60 watt bulb and 100 watt bulb at a distance of d is equal to 1 meter, right? So at a distance of 1 meter, right, when we have a 100 watt bulb and 60 watt bulb, which is more bright? And of course 100 watt bulb is more brighter than 60 watt bulb when we see at a distance of 1 meter. But when 60 watt bulb is seen at a distance of 1 meter and 100 watt bulb is seen at a distance of 10 meter, which appears to be brighter? Of course 60 watt bulb appears to be brighter when seen at a distance of 1 meter, and 100 watt bulb appears to be less brighter when it is seen at a distance of 10 meters. You see? So At a distance of 1 meter, the energy transported by 60 watt bulb is more, right? And at a distance of 100 meter, the energy transported by 100 watt bulb is less, right? And therefore we say that brightness, and the brightness and loudness are subjective. That depends upon the sensation of vision and the sensation of hearing. Similarly, we are having loudspeakers. So when we are using, right, a TV or an audio system, we are having a speaker of capacity 100 watt, 50 watt, etc. When we are using in a function DJ, we are in 1000 watt, 1500 watt, 10,000 watt, etc. Right? So brightness is a measure of intensity of light wave, that is the average energy transported per second per unit area by a light wave, and loudness of sound is again a measure of intensity of wave, that is the average sound energy transported per second per unit area, right? I think you get an idea about the intensity of a wave. Larger the brightness of light, larger is the intensity of light wave. Larger the loudness of sound, then larger will be the intensity of sound wave, right? Now, this intensity of a wave, right, by definition we have intensity of a wave is equal to, it is average energy transported per second, that is divided by time per unit area, that is divided by area, that is intensity I is equal to E by T into area, where is average energy transported, T is the time taken and A is the area, right? But that E by T, that is the energy transported per second or energy emitted per second, is called, right, power. It is power P, that is equal to, that is the power of source of wave. So when I say that the power of a bulb is 60 watt, that means it emits 60 joule of light energy per second. What about a 100 watt lamp? It emits 100 joule of light energy per second. When I say a speaker of 50 watt, that speaker emits 50 joule of sound energy per second, right? So whenever you are going to buy an electric bulb or a speaker, right, usually the shopkeeper will ask, right, what is the rating? That means in case of bulb he asks, right, how much watt is needed. Again, in terms of speaker also, he asks how much watt is needed, right? That represents the power, right? Whenever I say that 60 watt bulb, it represents its power. It is emitting 60 joule of light energy per second. 100 watt means 100 joule of light energy per second, right? So a source of light energy or sound energy, for example, I am taking, right, an electric bulb is a source of light energy, and of course there are other sources of light. Sun is a source of light, lighted candle, etc. Right? Now a speaker box, right, is a source of sound, right? Is that clear? So that I can write that intensity is equal to, this is I by T is equal to power of source of wave divided by area of surface on which it is falling, or I is equal to P by A. Right, intensity I is equal to power divided by area. So therefore SI unit of I is watt per meter square, or it can be written like this. So SI unit of intensity of a wave is watt per meter square. Is that clear? So intensity of a wave is a measure of average energy transported by a wave per second per unit area. Now we will take expression for intensity of wave. Now experimentally it is found that intensity I of a wave is directly proportional to A square of amplitude of wave, that is I is directly proportional to A square, right? That means when amplitude increases, right, the intensity also increases, and we know that the energy, total energy of a simple harmonic wave E is equal to half m omega square A square, right? So for simple harmonic motion, m and omega remain constant for given simple harmonic motion, but as A increases, the energy also increases, and of course the intensity also increases. Now B square of frequency of wave, that is intensity is directly proportional to square of the frequency. Again we have E is equal to half m omega square A square, and omega is equal to 2 pi f. As frequency increases, omega increases, consequently energy increases, and the intensity also increases. Now C, right, it is directly proportional to, right, velocity of wave, that I is directly proportional to velocity. When we see, when we hear a particular voice in air and the same voice, right, when we are immersed in water, generally when we immerse in water in some holy places, we hear a louder sound, right. The same sound in air has less energy, same sound in water has more energy, because velocity of sound is more in water. D, right. So density of propagating medium, that is I is directly proportional to, right, density of the propagating medium. In other words, mathematically I is directly proportional to a square f square v into rho, or I is equal to 2 pi square a square f square v into rho, where 2 pi square is a propagation constant, a is amplitude of wave, f is frequency of wave, v is velocity of wave, and rho is density of propagating medium. Now, what are the factors on which intensity of a wave depends? Whenever we are talking just the factors, right, without having the mathematical relation, then it depends upon amplitude, frequency, velocity, and density. How intensity of a wave, right, vary with its amplitude. Intensity of wave is directly proportional to square of the amplitude. Intensity is directly proportional to square of the frequency, right. Intensity is directly proportional to wave velocity, and intensity of wave is directly proportional to, right, the density of the medium, right. You might have observed this equation, right. A similar equation is used to express energy, total energy of a body executing simple harmonic motion, right. Remember that energy of simple harmonic motion, potential energy, kinetic energy, total energy, and total energy is also expressed E is equal to 2 pi square a square f square v into rho. And of course, where v is not velocity, volume of the body executing simple harmonic motion, and rho is not density of the medium, it is the density of the material of the particle which is executing simple harmonic motion, right. Now, right, now we have intensity of a wave, 2 pi square a square f square v into rho. So, for a given wave in a given medium, for a given wave in a given medium, f, v and rho are constant, right, because we know that Density is constant for a homogeneous medium, given homogeneous medium, and a wave has a constant velocity in a homogeneous medium, and the frequency is constant for a source or vibrating body that is producing this one. Then in this case, I is directly proportional to A square, that is intensity is directly proportional to amplitude square. That means when amplitude is increased n times, the intensity increases by n square times. When amplitude is doubled, intensity becomes 4 times more, right? Now we see the example. Whenever we are listening to a music, suppose a flute in some audio system, that flute has its own frequency here, right? And whenever we are listening, it means the sound is propagating through air, right? It is a constant velocity depending upon temperature, and density of air is constant, right? So F, V and rho are constant. Then how to increase the intensity or loudness of sound? We use the volume button, right? Of course, in remote controller there is a volume button. You are increasing the volume. When you are increasing volume of that sound wave, you are not varying frequency, you are not varying velocity, you are not varying velocity and sound. Then what you are varying? You are exactly varying amplitude, right? When in a musical system, right, when we wanted to increase the loudness of that music or intensity of the music, we use to increase right amplitude, right? Suppose when I am speaking without speaker, when I speak with the help of a speaker in a classroom, whenever I use a speaker inside a classroom, that is to increase the intensity of my voice, that is my sound, right? How? By increasing the amplitude, right? Now a mic, an amplifier and a speaker, right? That system increases only the amplitude of my voice. It cannot change my frequency. It is constant depending upon the size of my vocal cord, right? Is that clear? So whenever in a musical system or we are using a mic, right, to increase the loudness of sound wave, we are using right, we need to increase the amplitude of that wave. Even in earlier days, we are using cable TV to get various channels in our TV. Now, after 10 or more connection, a cable operator is used an amplifier, right? That amplifier increases the intensity of TV input signals, right? Right. So, in today's class, we have discussed two very important concepts. Phase difference between any two particles of a wave in a medium, and intensity of right sound wave. One more important concept is there, that is the principle of superposition of waves, where we exactly need the help of phase difference and path difference to understand the principle of superposition of waves, right? I hope you enjoyed the class, right? Thank you very much.